by an actress who's been in some of my shows to do a one-woman show that she could take on tour. She's an older actress. And so I thought it might be fun to turn her into a witch. And so I've written a play called Broomstick, which is going to be done at the Tennessee Williams Festival. But I thought I might just give you a taste of it. Because it's a lot of memory for a single person, I thought I'd make it easier for her by putting the entire thing into iambic pentameter, blank verse. And then I thought, well, it's about children and fairy tales, and so rhyme would be even more helpful. So the whole thing, I have to confess, is in iambic pentameter, and the whole 60 pages or so is in rhyme. The witch is an old mountain woman with an Appalachian accent. She tends to be pretty bloodthirsty in her games. And just to give you a taste of her voice, in the play, an adult who had spent time with her as a child has returned with a lot of questions about what happened when he or she was a child and stayed in the forest with the witch. And the witch, to relax and put the child, or now the adult, at ease, says, why don't we play one of those old games we used to play that you like so much, like 9 Fingers. Almost all her games involve butcher knives. And when her visitor reacts with alarm, this is what she's got to say. No, my dear, don't be alarmed. It's just a little game. You won't be harmed. And even if you are, I know some tricks to reattach a severed finger, fix a foot that's lost a toe or 2 or 3. I'm teasing you. But after all, ask me, who really needs 10 fingers, all those toes? If we were talking, let's say a nose. Now you lose that, okay, I'd understand if you thought things had gotten out of hand. It's not like we got extra ones to spare the way we do with eyes and ears. A pair of anything, you can afford to lose the first one, there's a second still to use. A nose though, there's not much to take its place, at least not sitting there in the middle of your face. So yeah, I might be slow to sympathize with someone lost just one of his 2 eyes. It comes to noses though, there ain't no just. You lose your nose and make a little fuss, well, that's to be expected, I suppose, seeing you lost your one and only nose. But these shenanigans about a toe or 2, you still got 8, 9 others, though. So what you say we play our little game, and let's not worry who we're gonna blame. Things go wrong that don't turn out so good. Meaning the world to me, really would. So that's the witch. But as the play goes on, she, because of her lack of sentimentality, and because witches are really all about our very first notions of justice and vengeance and fair play, she begins to consider the nature of evil and starts to talk about what she's learned in her very long life. She keeps complaining throughout the entire play about how she's been cheated and abused by others, and so all she's ever been trying to do with her big pot of boiling water, her kettle, and her butcher knife is just trying to make things square, as she puts it. And she meditates on what people think of themselves and what she's learned in her life. Most folks, they like to think themselves a saint. From my experience, I'd say they ain't. They got themselves a million ways to show how what they've done is right, though they must know that cheating some poor woman in a deal makes them no different from a thief who'd steal the bread right off her plate. Oh, they go on how they're as honest as the day is long. Insist with explanations half the night how they are always, always in the right. But by the time you get as old as me, there are things about people that you start to see. How many men, for instance, would deceive their wives if given half a chance? Believe me when I swear to you, there's quite a few. How many wives? Remember, sex takes 2. I've seen some things, all right, some awful things a person ought not ever see. It brings perspective, though, I come to realize. One Sabbath, the preacher starts to sermonize about the good inside each human being. Considering such things as then I'm seeing, it ain't an argument holds too much water. I just the night before seen neighbors slaughter 3 Negroes camping down along the river. The flaring torches made the shadows quiver as Paul and all the other men and boys went single file and never made no noise until they got the 3 of them surrounded without no place to run or hide. I found it frightening, crouching there behind a bush and watching Joe McKenzie go and push the first one down real hard onto his knees. I guess that's when I screamed. My daddy sees me hot and asked, "You follow us out here?" "Yes, sir," I say, though I got no idea just why I chose tonight to find out where the boys go off with all the men. They scare me how they look at me, but then my pa, he shrugs. As long as I come out this far, I might as well just have myself a look at what befalls three good-for-nothings, took some property don't belong to them. The men and boys, they laugh at what he says, and then they shove the other Negroes to the ground. All of a sudden, you can't hear a sound. The woods, they go all quiet. No one speaks. The leaves stop trembling. No tree limb creaks. The critters large and small, they hold their breath as if they know there's about to be a death or two or three along that riverbank. The woods was right, and all three bodies sank without a trace, except for what I learned. Roy Johnson rummaged through their things and burned their worn-out clothes and such like. Nothing here worth keeping, he explained. Just busted gear and tins of beans. I heard the men all laugh. Roy tossed into the flames a photograph that scorched and curled. Some woman in a dress, a ma or wife or daughter, I would guess. She troubles me, the girl in flames. A daughter don't yet know her dad is dead. The water carries everything away, I know. But after what went on, I can't let go. I try to tell myself the law is the law. So where is it? I finally asked my pa. What's that, says he. You know, the stuff they stole. Again, the men and boys guffaw. The bowl of fruit, you mean, they ate without permission that old Miss May had left outside her kitchen? And pie, who was cooling on her windowsill, don't leave that out there, Troy. For that, you killed three men, a pie and fruit? And you all know Miss May can't tell just now from long ago. That woman can't remember her own name. Forgetful now and then, sure. All the same, you'd rather neighbors called Miss May a liar? Why, we'd all sooner step into that fire. You killed three men because Miss May's confused and none of you would want her feelings bruised? My father sees the point I'm getting at. And who were them to us? You tell me that. Three shiftless drifters got no business here. You think if we was dead, they'd shed a tear? I looked at what the flames were feeding on and understood them three black men were gone. The moon came out and turned the river silver. I followed home a man who was a killer. But strange enough, the time that we got there, he had me laughing like I didn't care. I still can't say which sound was worse that night, the daughter's helpless giggles of delight, or else the wretched moans of dying men kept begging us for mercy till the end. So them that think they better than the rest, or only them have not yet had their test. Thank you.